We are pleased to be joined by the head coach of the Ottawa 67's, André Tourigny, the 2019-20 OHL and CHL Coach of the Year. Coach, thank you so much, first of all, for joining us. In May, the organization signed forward Joseph Garreffa to an American Hockey League contract. Give us an idea of what type of player the Barracuda are getting in Joseph.
He's a really passionate kid, passionate player. He's really shifty, really delusive. Won't get fooled by his size. He works really hard, and it's really tough to play physical against him. He's really shifty, so he has a good vision, play both sides of the puck. So he will have to keep growing his game, but there's a lot of talent there.
You traded for him as an overage player this past season after he began his career in Kitchener. What type of attributes had he displayed that made him an intriguing player for you guys to go out and trade for as an overage guy?
You know, Joe is he can play. He played defense. He played on both wings. He has a lot of. He's a flex player. He play PK, play power play, play the point on the power play, the flank on the power play. Can play different position, and his vision and like I said at first, you see his size. But then when you watch the game and you watch him play, you realize he wins a lot of battles, and he's really tough to play physical against him because he's so shifty. So that's basically what we needed with us. It was a perfect fit, play with good players, but make them better by his creativity offensively and skill levels, his hands, his vision. So he brought a lot in that sense.
You've coached in the CHL for a long time. You know, you've been an assistant in the NHL, World Junior Championships with Team Canada. This is a guy, as you alluded to, a little bit undersized, but what are a few of the things that he displayed over the year that you had him that makes you think that he can go to the next level and have some success?
You know, where the game is at now, the way Joe play, he can make plays, he can play really fast, he can close quickly on puck carrier, he's not afraid to work. As well, he has a low center of gravity, and he's really good in battles. Like I said earlier, it's shifty, but it's more he can do it defensively as well. He can compete defensively. I'm not saying he will get the guys through the boards, but he can compete with them and make it really tough on his opponent. So he has 20 years ago for those kind of guy was really tough, but now the game the way it is, it's more about speed. Thinking the game fast, playing the game fast. Joe can do those.
What do you feel like he needs to improve on in his game, as we mentioned, to be successful at the next level, but to stick? What parts of his game do you feel like he needs to round out?
He will need to get used to play against stronger body. He right now as an older player in junior. The older player was playing against, that was the biggest challenge, but now playing pro, they will all be like that. So I don't think it's a problem for him. It's more about getting their experience and learning to play against those guys and getting used to play against those guys, getting in front of the net against a junior player, having to try to box in, get in front of the goalie or that kind of stuff. It's tougher against pro player, more mature person. So he will have to learn that, to get used to that. But there's nothing in his game where I say, okay, would be a big hole. If that was his next step, it's not his skating or it's not his, his size will always be like that. But like I explained earlier, the way he plays so shifty and he's creative and he can play fast, he can move the puck quick. He moves the puck before he's getting trapped. He has a good IQ. So all of those, he can do it. So that's not a problem. It will be to get consistent on his defensive play and getting used to the physicality, which is tough. He got better.
When we spoke to him a couple months back, he mentioned, he had a fantastic experience this past year with your group, and he felt like he really bought into the system of what you guys were harping on. Career-wise, before this past season, he really took a big step in terms of his plus minus, and he said he felt like he rounded his game out as a 200-foot player. Did you see that buy-in right away, and how do you think he evolved, his game becoming a little bit more complete?
I think first, that's what's one thing we we liked about Joe, he didn't want to be a player. So that's before we trade for him. We knew he didn't want to make the sacrifice to improve his game, improve his 200-foot game, like you just said, and didn't want to become a complete player. So that was the first thing we say, okay, then we can work with him. And it's exactly what happened. It did not happen overnight. You don't arrive and say, okay, I want to be good defensively, and you're good. That's not the way it happened. But he had an open mind. He was coachable, was easy to work with. He never backed down from extra work or extra video or studying the game. So from there, he got better every week. I think at the start, it was a little bit bumpy in the sense of he didn't want to do it. But, when you're 20 years old, you want that to happen. Doesn't have to be today, but tomorrow. Yeah, but it's not the way it is in hockey. It takes weeks and months to work at your craft. So that was the first part, or the biggest obstacle, is to be patient, and for him to be patient in his game and see the improvement and keep grinding out and keep getting better every day. And he did. So at the end, he was super reliable, and I was really proud of the way he rounded up his game.
So last question for you. He came into your situation, I'm sure, being in a comfortable spot in Kitchener, and then he comes into a new locker room with new teammates, and there's adjustment that goes into that. But being a 20-year-old player, did you see him take a little bit of a leadership role as the season continued on?
Yeah, it's a good question, but the makeup of our team, the reality is we were together for 3 full years. Our D-core are the same the top 4 defensemen of our D-core, they're together for the 3 years. The same thing up front. So Joe arrived with a group where the guys that were used to be together. And I think big strength in every team who wants to have success is the leadership. And when your best player are really buying in your program and your system, that was our case. You look at Rossi, Quinn, and Keating, and all those guys, they were the most dedicated, playing both sides of the puck, playing defensively. So it was easy for Joe to follow those guys and to become a leader in that, in the sense of the 16 years old who were looking at our Joe Garreffa, who was an overage who really wants to improve his defensive game, or Austin Keating, another overage who really improve his game defensively, and et cetera, and we go in depth. So it helped the program. That's what made the program successful, where you can go right and left, but at the end of the day, it's how your leader perform. And Joe, as an overage, he took his play slowly, and I will say at the end, by his play, by the way he behaved in practice and in game, he was a leader in our team.
Well, hopefully he'll have a quick transition when he comes out to San Jose, because he's got some 67 alum that he'll be joining, and Jake Middleton, Logan Couture, and Sasha Shemilevsky, a guy you had as recent as last year. Coach, we can't appreciate the time enough. Best of luck whenever the season does kick off. I know it was a bit of a disappointing end for you guys last year because you had such a good group, but we wish you best of luck, and thank you again for the time.
Thanks a lot, Nick.